I'm Dan St.Yves, or the disembodied voice of Dan St.Yves, and today I'm talking with Joe Vermeulen, who will be sitting in the director's chair for the Front Row Center Player Society presentation of Jesus Christ Superstar. Joe, thanks so much for taking time to talk today.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, more than happy to. So you've got a bit of a diverse bit of experience here. 9 to 5 the musical, sound operator, lighting assistant, Young Frankenstein lighting design, coming attractions, stage manager, My Fair Lady lighting design. Is this your first time behind the director? Or?
It's the first time in Calgary. When I was in theatre school at York, we obviously had to do directing as part of the program there, but I actually wrote and directed my own play in Hamilton that is called Waiting for the Go / The Drake Equation, which we mounted in Hamilton right before I moved to Nova Scotia, then came here.
Wow.
Yeah, so first time with such a huge company and so many people, so it's been a really remarkable experience. Yeah.
So the directing process it's more than just herding people around on the stage. You get to interpret the script.
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, for Jesus Christ Superstar, part of what we did was come up with the concept of setting it in Occupy Wall Street to show it as it reflects both on the story of Jesus Christ from the Bible, and also people who know the story of Jesus Christ really intimately will be able to reflect back onto what actually happened in 2011 in New York. So the concept part is part of what I've done. I've also been involved heavily with all the design aspects, casting, music, absolutely everything that you see on stage has at some point gone through my inbox.
Well, I've seen some of the production stills, and it looks like there's some edgier looks for the costume
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah, it's very much set in the 2011 Occupy Wall Street in New York City, and we've tried our best to keep New York and the Occupy protest very central to the story that we're telling.
Now, this is also an iconic play.
Absolutely.
People have memories of this from decades back.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it going to change for what their expectations might be if they're fans going way back? I mean, even the star Ted Neely was in town not too long ago doing a remounting of it.
He's actually retweeted us a couple of times.
No kidding!
Yeah.
Excellent!
Yeah, so it's still the story and it's still the show that you know. We've taken a few different courses. For example, we are playing Pilate a little more friendly than would be traditionally done. And Mary Magdalene as well we're trying to establish the relationship between all of the protesters. So in our mind, there are 3 sort of victims of this story, and that's Judas, Jesus, and Pilate. All of them have to do actions that they don't want to necessarily do in order for the outcome to be fulfilled that was prophesized. So we are doing our absolute best to show each of them as being a sympathetic character.
Now, Front Row Center has done Jesus Christ Superstar in the past.
Yeah.
Are there any holdovers from cast, or?
Yeah, Darren Stewart is our Judas, and he was Jesus in the other production.
No kidding.
We also have a couple of the backstage people were involved, like Carl and Janusz were involved in the previous production, and there's a few more. So it's exciting for them to come back and re-explore the material in a different way, and it's exciting for us to hear about how it was done before and how we're doing it differently. So that's definitely a really great asset that we have.
So it really gives you, even though there's the concept of Jesus and the disciples, it does give you that flexibility to turn it into the story that puts it up against the backdrop of corporate America and Occupy Wall Street. I kind of like the way you tell the story, to use a parallel of contemporary celebrity worship. I mean, you get to thinking, in this day and age, how would Jesus and his crew operate without Twitter and Facebook, and
Exactly.
How would that have changed things?
Yeah, and that's actually something we're playing with. We're actually releasing on the Front Row Center Facebook page tweets and Facebook posts from the characters themselves as we lead into where they are for the show. And on stage, you'll also see them using Twitter and Facebook.
I actually noticed that on your Facebook page. That was one of the things I was going to bring up. It's a great Twitter exchange between Mary Magdalene and Judas Iscariot. Yeah. It just makes you wonder. There was a time not so long ago where none of this was available. So how was someone like Judas able to compel people to his way of thinking without the power of social media? It tells a lot about characters and what people can look for in this production.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What stuck out to me is the line from Superstar, which is Judas singing after he's killed himself, coming back from the dead to do this campy rock number, which is a lot of fun. And that's the line, "If you'd come today, you would have reached the whole nation." Now, of course, when Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice wrote that back in the 70s, things were much different than they are today, and it just is so much more powerful what you can do today in terms of communication. So that's really something we wanted to play with for both the promotion and for on stage.
So for younger members that are going to come out and see this, what's your take on how they'll view all of this? I mean, they might have the perspective other people might have from prior productions.
Mm-hmm. Well, for younger people coming to see the show, the big thing that we're all excited about is we're going to have lasers for the temple scene. We're setting the temple in kind of a what would happen if the New York Stock Exchange was at night used as a rave. So there's lots of very modern elements, modern dancing. Danielle Desmarais, our choreographer, is absolutely wonderful at creating modern and very interesting types of movement. Chelsea, our music director, Chelsea Wellman, for vocals, and Colin Lowe, our orchestral director. They are creating a very modern sound alongside Chris, our sound designer, and the lighting and projections. It's going to be a very modern multimedia experience.
So is this going to have a live band?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Live band. We're upgrading the speakers and the sound system that we have in the Beddington Theater just for this show. We're going to add subwoofers so you'll really feel the rumble of the music. It's going to be great. Jesus Christ Superstar, the classic. Is there anything that you want to let me know about that I may not have touched on as yet? Yeah, this Front Row Center is such a wonderful organization. It's a bunch of people who put on shows because they want to and they love it, and the group of people that I've had the pleasure to work with, both cast, crew, Yanish, my assistant director, James, my stage manager, they put in such an incredible amount of effort, and the product that we can come up with together is just phenomenal. So by all means, if you're interested in theater, you should volunteer. It's all volunteer. Excellent. Front Row Center Players Society presentation of Jesus Christ Superstar runs March 27th to April 11th at the Beddington Heights Community Arts Center. Thanks again, Joe. Thanks for coming.